All right. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris from CCA, California. And today we have a real special treat. We've got Craig Sutton from Fishing Nosara. How's it going, Craig?
Good, Chris. Good to talk to you.
Yeah. Likewise, my friend. Likewise. Let's wait just a little bit here for everyone to tune in here, but let's get things a little bit started here. How have you been managing this quarantine? What have you been up to? And I know it's been quite a while since we last talked, but what have you been up to?
Well, just, we were shut down from, I think, March 21st till October 15th. It was tough road to hoe, be honest with you, but it was, we're back open and the fishing's been wide open. I think I really and truly think that the first 60 days we were open, that the fish were exceptionally aggressive because they hadn't seen a boat or a lure in a while or a bait. And we had the report and blogs supports it, but we had some super fantastic days. It's been very, very good this year. But it's now it's pretty much typical summertime for them.
Gotcha. So really it seems like there's been kind of a lack of pressure with everyone kind of been off, so to speak, for the last year, right?
Well, absolutely. And while we were shut down, about 6 months into the shutdown, my guys went out they wanted to get something to eat. And we put one of our small boats in the water. And I don't remember how many, it was like 14 or 16 yellowfin, never left more than about 4 miles from the beach. And that, Chris, they were going about 20 knots to some birds they spotted about 2 miles from where they were fishing. They had a naked squid dangling out the back, and they caught a 300-pound marlin while they were moving.
Holy
knots. Yeah, it's like we had some fantastic stories in November too. I mean, just crazy aggressive fish. But it's been good. It's been good since then. It's good to be back open.
Oh my goodness. That's with us sitting here in February now, almost middle of February, just gets me fired up for the remaining of the year, the season, man.
Oh, it's summertime for them, and it's I'm leaving Thursday, like I was telling you earlier. I can't wait. I'm fine. I'll fish every day I'm down there. I only get to spend 5 days down there, but trust me, I'll be out in the water.
For sure. Let's check in with the comments here. We've got Arnie and Paul joining us. Mike, how are you guys? Wayne's joining us. He says, "Howdy, Craig."
Wayne, how you doing?
Carrie is joining us. Hello, Carrie. Arnie, what's going on? Guys, as a reminder, if you have any questions for Craig, just leave them in the comments below. We will definitely get to them. But Craig, let's start out with the basics here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you kind of went into Fishing Nosara, and a little bit of a background on you.
It's kind of a long story, but I'll try. I started going to Central America when I was 18 and traveled down there surfing and fishing when I found a good spot, and kept going back, and then went to Puerto Rico, and then went to Costa Rica about, I don't know, a little over 25 years ago, and fell into Nosara and didn't quite realize the uniqueness of it at first, but I knew that surf was super consistent. The deep water was extremely close. Back when I first started culling, they didn't have bottom machines that would tell you exactly. Some of them would go up to about 150, 200 back 26 years ago. And just fell in love. I mean, it is the closest blue water of anybody in Central America. And it gets the least amount of rain, which in Central America, it's a microclimate. Everything's very, the air, it's hard for us in America to wrap our head around it, but we're in about a 150-mile alley that faces south that gets 150 inches of rain. Either north or south, 80 miles, they get 400 inches of rain. And at first I didn't realize it, but it was, for me, it was the perfect place. I mean, it was easy fishing, close, consistent. and they're very aggressive fish, very aggressive.
That's excellent. Excellent. With, having never been to Costa Rica myself, I've seen plenty of pictures, and especially on your website at Fishing Nosara, along with, just videos on the internet and YouTube and everything. I have to say, my friend, it's just absolutely, it just looks remarkable. Wouldn't you think?
Oh, it is. I mean, we can understand you're talking to somebody who put their money where their mouth is, but but yeah, I wouldn't have. It's a blood, sweat, and tears, heart and soul project. But yeah, I've definitely been sold on it for sure. And I mean, you know what? I don't listen to me. Just look at those pictures. Look at those pictures. My gosh. Like, especially look the last 2 weeks, which is summertime, and it's still good. It's still very good down there, but it's exceptionally good. Especially the marlin bite this year. The marlin have been exceptionally consistent, along with the big tuna. And I think that's what they're feeding.
So I mean, you kind of mentioned that there. Let's go into a little bit of the species there. I know you mentioned marlin and the big tuna. For the different kinds of year, obviously the weather down there is fantastic year round. But for someone who's never been there before and going down there in the future, what could you expect to be catching down there?
It's generally the same species all year long. It's just sometimes a little more certain times, and they tend to be bigger. But they stopped the long lines coming into our area about 4 years ago. They started enforcing it, and I guess I'm sorry, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, and we've seen a big change in our fishery for sure. Where like the yellowfin 8, 10 years ago, when you caught a 15 pounder, everything you caught was 15. And since they've made the net stay beyond 40 miles, instead we'll catch a 15 and catch an 80 in the same school, same day. And the same with the Dorado and the Mahi too. But we definitely the last 4 or 5 years seen an uptick in the bigger, like the 200-pound yellowfin. Last year, from the end of May, year before last, excuse me, I'm sorry, from the end of May through August, we caught 4 yellowfin 72 or bigger inches. That's a big yellowfin. That's a big, especially on light tackle. Now, for every 4 we caught, we probably lost another 20 or 25. But and at the same time in the mahi true, now we're measuring the yellowfin, but the mahi, we've got the boca grip, so they're pretty close to accurate. We caught over 40. I think we caught 6 during that May through. And generally May's when we seem to get a big fish, but lately, the last couple of years, we're still getting a lot of the bigger mahi and the big yellowfin during the summer, which is our winter.
So it seems like more quality as opposed to quantity there, and just with the result of the last couple of years, it's been remarkable.
Oh, it is. It's been, but I don't know if that's not as a result of the fishery getting better, or if it's our guys getting better. I mean, I'm kind of going off subject, but 20 years ago, in early April and through early May until the fall season settles in, when our fall, the current changes and goes the other direction. And instead of being northbound, it goes southbound, and it changes our fishery. But if I've been there when it starts slowing up, the current, and then dies off and then starts flipping, and fishing go, no motion, no fishing. I mean, the fish won't bite when the ocean's still like that. But the fall, when it changed current, it used to be the big, the real big fish, the big yellowfin, the big mahi. But and it seemed like the bigger marlin, but I don't know, lately. I mean, I started telling you, when the end of April and May, the water would get so hot, it would get in the 90 degrees. That's hot water. That's hot, and it would get still, and the fish would be there But instead of biting like our billfish or sailfish, they come up and they knock the bait out of the water, or they pick it up and they swim off real slow and actually spit it out. Just like that. And now we've learned to move to the further offshore water and get the water that's got current to it. Even if it's anything's better than nothing is what we're finding. And I think like the last couple of weeks, I've talked to the guys and they're running a little further off than normal. Most of your local guys in Central America, they're not running farther than they got to it. And our guys are, they're competitive. They want to be the best in the bay, and they want to compete against each other. So, it's not good on my pocketbook, but it sure catches a lot of fish.
Oh, fantastic, Craig. We have our first question from Wayne, and let's kind of talk a little bit about Fishing Nosara here. Question: describe the different packages that are offered.
Oh shucks, man, we got them from a single guy that wants to fish on a 23-foot boat. We got absolutely no one size fits all. You pick the accommodations. It's on the website, video tours of each house on the website, the nature preserve. It's a different setup. It's not a lodge. It's each individual house has its own character and style. And Tucker, get out of here. Get out. I got a crazy cat. Sorry. Has his own style, and they sit on their own lot. And it's in one big complex that fronts a nature preserve. And we privatized it with the vegetation. So it's lots of wildlife. It's very quiet, but if you're not into nature and you're not into wildlife, we're not your place. But there's other places, but it's a different kind of setup. And what we've got from a little bitty studio up to a 4-bedroom house with all full amenities, towels, linens, concierge, security, Wi-Fi, air conditioner. We serve an all organic, locally sourced breakfast every morning. And it doesn't sound like much. I know the breakfast at the Holiday Inn, everybody, this is the juice we make. The fruit comes from the area. The jam, the syrup's made by us. It's not we don't buy it in the grocery store. You eat pancakes, the syrup is homemade syrup. It's all natural stuff. But it goes down the line like that. But that's true of everything we do. And that's not really me so much. It's that's the Costa Rican way. And that's what separates true Costa Ricans from the rest of Central America and Latin America. They have such an eco-conscious that to a lot of Americans and a lot of people anywhere, it's very endearing. It really is. And that's what, my first experience was with Mexico, and I love Mexico, and it was definitely my first Latin love. But the Costa Ricans are unique on a lot of different levels, and that's definitely one of them. And that's pretty much world renowned. I mean, they're world known for that. The Pura Vida.
Yeah. Man, just sign me up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to get you down there. You work too much.
I know. We got Jamie watching. Brian Woolley, how are you, Mr. Woolley there? Mike Hatcher's in the house. How are you, Mike? Arnie has a question. Are there freshwater options available on your trips?
No, there's a brackish water fishery for snook, corvina, and cirros, but it's a flowing river. A lot of top water flowing under the mangroves and some live baits and stuff, and then where it empties out in the ocean. Now there is an elsewhere in Costa Rica, but not in our medium. But it's now our snook fishery. It's that river mouth, but we catch some monster snook. There's one on our website, our archive. A local guy caught it. It was 8 pounds bigger than the world record Pacific black snook. 8 pounds bigger. It was 10% bigger, Chris. And the guy that caught it's a local guy, and he had his name was Luis Hernandez, and he just switched over to a rod like 3 or 4 months. And he told me, he says, I've caught 3 or 4 bigger than that on a hand line.
Oh my God.
They're live bait with little, what we call in Florida, white baits or thread fins. But can you imagine that on a hand line, an 80-pound snook
No.
in 3 feet of water? I mean, that's got to be crazy. I'm sorry.
Beat that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We've got Lonnie joining us. How are you, Lonnie? Welcome, my friend. Jose is joining us. Wynn has another question. Since our seasons are opposite, what are the best months to go fishing down there?
It just kind of depends on what you want to fish for, really. It really does. And like I was saying earlier about the fishery kind of evolving, it's I'll get back to you next week when I get back, let you know how summertime is. Normally I would have done 2 trips by now in what I call summertime. My last trip was Thanksgiving week. I did 9 days, and that's considered their spring. But just come on down. It's good all the time. It's just something's always biting.
Excellent. Well, let's kind of go back to the property there for a newbie looking into Fishing Nosara. In terms of location there, are all your lodges right on the beach or just a couple block walk to the dock, or how does that usually set up?
Well, our beachfront and pretty much all of Guanacaste, accessible beachfront, is national park. 1,200 meters, about 2,200 feet from the high water mark is all national park. So our beach was voted one of the top 12 beaches in the world. The community was voted one of the top 10 places to see in the world. It was the first master plan community 70 years ago. And the beach is a 4-mile white sand beach, which in Central America, a lot of your listeners have gone to Central America, and a lot of black sand beaches in Central America because of the rock, and they're hot. You can't, after 9 o'clock in the morning, you're not walking on that sand. But it's a white sand beach, a 4-mile bay. But our location of our nature preserve is 2 blocks from that beach. 2 downtown, like downtown San Diego, it's 2 full city blocks. But we're in a hub area. I mean, within 2 blocks of our place, I think there's 11 restaurants, plus 2 grocery stores and a liquor store, and surf shops and stuff. It's definitely right in the heart of the place. I try to rent people a golf cart because it's kind of cool to explore the area because it's very spread out. Because it was a master plan community, which the 99% of the vibe in Central America, when you go to the city, it has that extreme density. And that's an issue because of your water system. They don't plan a municipal water system, and they just extend the water line 1 lot. So every business is right next door to each other. Well, our community was master planned, and it had a municipal water system. So there's the businesses are spread out in the community, and it's got little enclaves of businesses, but there's a lot of little enclaves, and that's part of the character of it. And that's why it was voted one of the must-see places. And it has a different vibe, but it's got a lot of greenery. It was the first, in addition to being first master plan community, it's the first community in Central America that has a nature preserve that meanders through it. And that's what our properties affront, and it gives it a unique feel. And I tell people, you'll come for the experience, but you'll come for the world-class fishing, but you'll come back for the experience. And that's what I mean. It's the food, the people, the architecture, just the lifestyle, and then some great fishing thrown in too.
Yeah, it seems like it's a little bit of everything, and that's really really unique, and almost has to be almost a selling point for not only the classic fishermen, but for other people too, the spouses, the wives, the kids, and everyone.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And fishermen are less than 40% of our business. Our largest client base is yoga girls. I mean, yoga students that come to get certified yoga back in their native country. And then we have, of course, surfers, but we get nature tourists, and then we get, a lot of private yoga retreats too come to our place. But we have a segment of turtle tourists that come during the new moon phases, generally in September and October, when they have the arrival. It's called a rebida of the turtles. We're south of 4 places in this hemisphere where you can see the turtles, the leatherbacks, migrate on the beach in mass. In mass is the key word. Like in California, you guys got them, but you got one turtle. We'll have just literally millions, thousands. It's about a 6 mile, about a 4.5 mile stretch of beach. And as far as your eye can see on what they call the mass arrebida, the whole beach is moving with adult female turtles coming to it's the most incredible sight you've ever seen. There's a video on the website, on our website, but to see it in person, and I see why we don't get a lot, but we'll get 10 to 20 tourists every they come. The arrebida or the arrival is on the new moon, and then the following full moon is the hatchling, which is kind of cool, but it's that arrebida is neat. It really is. It's world renowned for that.
Okay, just marking my calendar there.
Yeah.
Excellent. So it seems like it's not really that secluded, but it is kind of secluded on the beach there, where you can still actually get into town and go shopping and just kind of have a traditional, I guess, Costa Rican experiences, right?
Absolutely, it's full authentic as far as that goes. We're remote, but once you get to our community, everything you need's right there. Absolutely, and there's because it was a master plan community, and the property values are the highest there of any place in Central America. There's a large inventory of really good quality restaurants, and they run the whole gamut. They go from local Costa Rican, authentic Costa Rican food, all the way up to the foo-foo-y stuff.
Excellent. So Arnie wants to know, and this kind of goes along to what we've been talking about here right now. Are there things to do for your significant others that don't fish?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we've got a wellness program. We've always had it, but we started marketing it now. We've got girls on staff that'll come in and do any kind of facial massage, foot, back, neck, all that. And then we've got the tours. And we do several tours. We do the Horseback Mountain, the kayaking, and the snorkeling tour. Now we do all that. That's all our staff does that. But the Horseback Mountain tour, it's a tour that my general manager and our security guard, they've been doing for about 4 years longer than we've been around. When I hired Javier, and he's our big boss down there, he was doing this tour, and they called it the Exotic Journey, but they modified it and they constantly changing it. And we call it the Horseback Mountain Tour. But I tell every client that ever books that trip from us, if you don't thoroughly enjoy that tour, you call me up and I'll give you every dime of your money back. And I'm not lying in my pocketbook, because I only get 10% to administer it and pick you up. But it is the feedback that we get on that tour. I get that on that tour. You can hear it, and I do it myself. And it's not about riding a horse. It's about experiencing a Costa Rican farmstead. No electricity, no running water, and you'll eat one of the best meals you've ever eaten in your life. And you tour their farm, and it gives you a chance to, and they explain to you, Eduardo usually, or Javier, they'll explain to you all the plants they use, away from running water and literally 3 miles to a town, how they use for medicinal purposes, for spices. They sustain themselves. They grow their own coffee up there, and it's an experience. It really, really is. And like I told you, I've never had anybody not thoroughly enjoy it, including myself. But we do the snorkeling and then the kayak. The kayak tours down that river where you can fish for snook or, there's, or you can just paddle down, and you don't really have to paddle because the current's flowing down. So it's an effortless kind of tour. It's not a physical trial for you. And then you end up in that river mouth, and you can always fish at the river mouth, or, eat a good lunch and back up, take a nap, or go home, or whatever you want to do. It's Costa Rica. Nobody's going to rush you.
Wow. Sounds amazing. Wayne has another question. Describe the different safari tours option that are available.
Well, like I said, we got the Horseback Mountain, numero uno, Wayne, the kayak tour. That's just, 2 people minimum on all the tours, right? And we can take up to about 15 people. And it'll be just your group. Every once in a while we'll mix a small group if they're staying with us, but it generally will be your group only, especially if you got anybody over 4 or 5. But so that you won't have to deal with personalities, you'll be able to focus on the tour. And then the same with the kayak. The kayak's on the river going down, and you can fish on it, or you can just sit in the kayak and just kind of steer it down the river and look at all the wildlife. And it's beautiful. It's mangrove swamps and just a lot of beauty. You'll see guanacosta trees next to the river, literally the size of Volkswagens, and not just one. You'll see several. It's spectacular. If you're into seeing beautiful trees and vegetation, nature, and we also the horseback too. You can hike it if you're really frisky. But let's see. I think that's it.
So
we'll take you on a boat for a booze cruise if you want to on Sunset too.
I was going to say, just to save some people asking about it already, I'll ask you now. You mentioned kayak fishing down the river and all that. Any saltwater kayak fishing at all?
A little bit. It's certain areas. You got to understand, for us, we have a lot of cobalt clear water. So if it's kayak fishing, you're fishing outside the breakers, and to be productive, you got to be on the water. The sun comes up down there at 4 o'clock. It's not like America. It comes up and it goes down at 6 pretty much all year round. But you've got to be on the water by 4 o'clock. And if you get on the water at 6:37, you're too late. Narrow window.
Interesting.
But, yes.
Yeah, well, speaking of weather, are you typically getting out most days, or are there certain kind of weather days that you kind of have to lay low a little bit?
On a normal pre-COVID year, the year prior to COVID, the complete year, and our year starts November 1, runs to October 31st, we did 868 trips. We weathered out on 2, and we don't fish rough water. Now, it's Central America. It's known for being calm water. Now it'll be swelling, but the swell's real far apart. But no, we don't. We just generally don't weather out. When we lost those 2 trips, we did reschedule probably half a dozen different days, but everybody got out fishing but 2.
That's really good to know.
Makes a good business plan. Trust me, makes it different.
No kidding.
The only time I tell people if to lay off and we keep a boat in the water, is our rainy season, because of like I said earlier, the rain is only 150 inches of rain. Our rainy season is basically 2 moon phases, and it'll start on the full moon at the very end, toward the end of August or the beginning of September. And then it'll end 2 moon phases later, or basically, toward the end of October or the beginning of, and it's not like a stopwatch stop, but the range we get, instead of being an hour and a half in the evenings, will start slowing up to 30 minutes, 45, and then between the moon phases, it'll be dry for 4 or 5 days. And it'll kind of do that. The people that we have fish September and October, a guy says, man, I can't do anything but September. I say, time it between the moon phases, between the full and the new, like come in the day after or 2 days after. And it's astonishing. I go down there to do my fiberglass work on that same thought process, and I get beautiful weather. In fact, I've been doing that the last 7 years, and I've yet to miss one. Now, every once in a while, it'll rain a little bit in the afternoon, but I wake up every day down there, it's blue skies, and we get the fishing trips in.
Fantastic. Nicholas is chiming in. Hello, Nicholas. My cousin is an expat living 5 miles north of you. You put us on unlimited sales, a few Dorado, and a monster dogtooth snapper. Great memories. See you again soon.
Yeah, tell Nick to hang his hat on that Cabera snapper, because trust me, I've lost about the last 12 in a row I've hooked down there. They've shamed me lately. Golly, tell them I'll get back to them. Hopefully I'll catch one next week.
Oh man, that's fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about your outfits, your fishing outfits. I know you've got in a range of boats, and you offer all 4 or 5 of them. Tell us a little bit about each of them.
Well, we've got a 23 standard Panga, has a tuna tube, chart plotter bottom machine on it, outriggers, a stationary top on it. It's the most rigged up 23-foot standard Panga in Central America. It's tiller steering, but it's got all the amenities. We've got a 27, that's the Explorer. It's a super Panga. Single engine, but all the amenities, tuna tube, live well, outriggers, electronics, bottom machine, all that stuff on it. A client, you can put up to 4 people on it. You can book that $450 half day, $550 3/4, $600 full day. The smaller boats, $300, $350, $400 half, 3/4 full day. Then we've got Harvester. That's a 32 Corvina, Eduardonia Corvina. And if you're into boats, any of your listeners are, a Corvina, a 32 and a 38 is the original Panga, built by the only one company, the Eduardonia company in Medellin, Colombia. The Yamaha engineers designed the original Panga 70 years ago in Japan. They bought boats from Central America, South America, and took them back to Japan. It's a cool story. That's why I'm telling you. It's like a lot of people don't know it. And you've got a lot of Pangas in California too. They took them back to Japan and studied all the boats. And after a year, they came up with the Panga design. And they went to Medellin, Colombia at Eduardonia, which is their exclusive South American distributor since prior to this time, and built the molds for a Corvina. And it's been copied, a Corvina 32 and 38 been copied. And you will never see, or I've never seen in Central and South America, any government police boat, harbor police, that was not an Eduardonia 32 or 38 Corvina. It's a stupid, anyway, that's the Harvester is a 32 Corvina that I had shipped from Medellin to our shop in Jacksonville. And we built the whole interior to the boat, the live wells, consoles, the cabin in the front, the little cuddy cabin, rigged it, put the top on it, and shipped it back to Costa Rica. It was featured on Project Dreamboat with Florida Sportsman when we finished it, I think 7 years ago. Very cool build. We built the whole boat with Coosa wood, epoxy, and fiberglass. There's not one piece of metal in that build. I mean, it's a sick, super cool boat. I like the boat so much, I'm gonna fish my Corvina out of here in Jacksonville tomorrow that I built, that copied it really. But anyway, we've got, the next boat is the Discover. It's a 32 T-Craft that we took. It was a single screw, originally it was a single screw diesel. We took the diesel out in our shops in Jacksonville, put a bracket on it, rebuilt the whole complete boat. We pulled the bulkheads out of it. I mean, rewired it, plumbing, took the tower off, redid the tower on it. It was a 2-year, $5,200 200-hour rebuild. Hung a pair of 150 Yamahas on the back of it and shipped it to Costa Rica. And it's been fishing it almost, I mean, it's a great boat. Very cool boat. Very cool. A T-craft. I know you don't know T-crafts in California, but they were real popular in the mid and late 70s and early 80s in the East Coast, from Carolinas down to South Florida. They were kind of known as a commercial charter, real hard, strong boat. And then we've got the last 32 we've got is the Wonder. That was the first boat we redid back 16, 17 years ago. And it was also a T-craft that we had bought from a local guy in Jacksonville here. A friend of mine bought the diesel in it. We reinforced the transom, put a bracket on it, stripped it out, and shipped it. Now we've been we didn't understand all the little details on a rebuild down there and how weight was so, gas is $8 a gallon. So fuel mileage is huge for us as a business. And we've been kind of changing the Wonder since the first time we shipped it down. And we put a new top on it and just retrofitting it more with the Coosa Wood, lightening it up and stuff. And it's she runs more trips than pretty much anybody in Central America every year. William, 1 year, and these boats are only in the water for 9.5 months because they've got 2 weeks of vacation every year. And then it takes us about 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks to do the maintenance on them. And she did 298 trips.
Wow.
Boats only in the water for 300, a maximum of 300 days.
Holy smokes. So,
yeah, that was an extreme. That was about 4 years ago. And I said, William, you can't do that many. But he still does about 250, 260 trips a year. That's a lot of trips.
so you've actually put
in a good year, pre-COVID, by the way.
Yeah. So you've actually put in the work, really kind of customized it up here in the US, and they've just had them all shipped down to your place down in Costa Rica. So they're already outfitted, they're all ready to go.
Well, and we've still got to do maintenance on them and stuff. But yeah, we've with the Wonder, we've done a lot of little things to it since it's been down there because we didn't know all the little details. And just to get off subject a little bit, because of the environment, these boats are on anchor for 9 months, 10 months without getting pulled. We'll pull them out every 30, 45 days and clean the bottoms and stick them right back in the water the next time. We have to launch them on and off the beach. It's not have a marina in our area. But we take every hole on every boat. If it's through bolted, there's nothing but through bolted in any of our boats. We don't use self-tapping screws just because of the fact that the water can get in there and delaminate the fiberglass. So when we have a hole, we drill the hole over, usually 2 sizes bigger. We tape it and epoxy plug it. Then we grind it, bevel it, cup it down, put a fiberglass patch on it so we hold the plug in place, and then we drill it with the original size. In the Wonder, when we first sent it down there, we had one night in a rainstorm. What happens in the bay we're at, the swells get trapped into the bay. And they actually, if it's a violent one and it's a direct frontal direction, the water level actually will raise in the bay about 3 or 4 feet. And it's not, the water level's not raining, it's the swell gets mixed up in there. Anyway, the security guard was on the Wonder, and the boat, the swells move all different directions, and the anchor, the rope holding the boat can't compensate fast enough. The swell comes up the back, lifts the boat up, and it stands up on its nose. The swell exits and it comes down and it shears the cap of the boat where the road split the mooring cleat, like you took a giant sawzall and ripped the boat about 6 inches deep down into the hull. So, that's what I deal with. That's what I mean. It's why your listeners listen to all this stuff. It's crazy, some of the stuff we deal with down there that people just don't know. And I'm sorry if I'm getting off a tangent on them, but the, but we had it when we repaired it. The last thing we had to do, my guys down there, was install the bow rail. I flew in down there. I spent 5 days grinding it, fiberglassing it, putting it all back. And the last thing they had to do was to put the bow rail on. And one of the feet, they didn't put the 5200 on. And by the time I came back 2 months later, the front part of the boat was delaminate about 1.5 feet away from that hole. And so, and it was just because of that. Somebody didn't put 5200 on. And as an operator, I can't let a piece of 5200 kill a boat like that. It took me 5-6 days to fix that patch after delaminate. But so that's when we started the process of coring every hole in the boat. And we like I said, the self-tapping screws, because of the fact that they could possibly leak a little bit, and somebody forget to put 50 in, we refrain from doing a build with self-tappers. Kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
it makes my life easier because I do all the maintenance.
And speaking as a former boat owner, 5200 is no joke. That's nothing.
No, it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
That's why I like building boats where we don't need to put 5200 on. We're not sealing up. We don't care, but it'll leak water down the cabin, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I know. I hate that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Wayne has another question. Will the restaurants prepare our catch? Is there any fish processing?
Absolutely. All the restaurants will do it, and they'll discount. Each restaurant's got its own program on discounting. Now, as far as fish processing, we have a vacuum sealer, but you really don't want to suck the air out of it. You don't want to vacuum seal. You seal it, but you just want to squeeze the air out. If you vacuum seal fresh fish, when you thaw it out, it's not near as good if you don't do that, especially mahi and tuna, really, pretty much all of it. Because, when you vacuum it, you suck the moisture out. You just want to seal it. Yeah, but we've got all that on premises. But you have to bring it back. You bring it back, and United's got a policy. You check it. They don't, at United, they don't even charge you now. I was talking to a customer tonight about that. I carry mine on. I fly JetBlue a lot, and I carry mine on. I'll freeze 40 pounds and put it in my backpack, and just, nobody says anything to me. And I don't know if I don't ask permission. The old saying, it's better to, beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
or don't ask questions that you don't want to know the answer to.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to know the answer. I've been doing it like that for years, but. And I've never had an issue with the client. I tell clients the same thing.
Excellent.
But I did talk to a client this afternoon that I was concerned with the COVID, if that was going to be an issue. And he flew United into Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth on United. And he said, I got it there, told him what it was. He said they wanted to check it, and they wrap it. Now they wrap it in a plastic bag. So if it leaks, it doesn't damage anything. And it was good to go.
Excellent. Well, let's kind of talk about a little bit about the logistics. Is it terribly difficult to get down there? What do you have to do to go down to fish with you down there?
Well, the flights with this COVID is changed. There's a lot of there's flights leaving out of Dallas, Fort Worth, but for you guys in California, there was a direct flight out of the LAX that went to Liberia, but there's several options for you guys, and I don't know if driving to Tijuana or flying to Tijuana, if that option's still there with the COVID or not. But it was, last year when we were doing the Fred Hall show, that was available. But it's pretty accessible. You get to Liberia Airport, we're 73 miles, 2 hour, 10, 15-minute drive. Excellent. My friends that drink beer say it's a 2-beer ride.
That's good. That's good to know. Are you do you offer any shuttle service from the airport to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all private vans. They'll pick you up with fruit, water, snacks, a couple beers, white, red wine, whatever your lady friends or somebody in the group drinks wine, we'll get that for you. We're not gonna get you, we're not gonna have a 6-pack a person kind of deal, but we'll take the edge off the flight. We'll kind of get you into the mood.
Awesome. And with you said it was 70 some miles from the airport. How far is it typically, or do you offer shuttle services to some of the bigger towns in Costa Rica?
Yeah, we can get you any place you want to go, 24 hours a day. We've got a family that been doing our shuttles for 15 years, and I've been to church with this family for the day one, and it's all their family are the drivers. They're sober. They'll never raise their voice. They'll never say a 4-letter bomb, and they'll be there right on time, and they'll get you there. And if you want to stop and eat lunch or something, they're not concerned. It's Costa Rica. Nobody's in a hurry.
That's
but
fantastic. The Americans. Arn chiming in. Wow, we're complaining about fuel prices with $8 a gallon. No kidding.
Yeah, well, on top of that, it's like $7.80 right now, $7.86 a gallon. It takes us one person, and he does it when we're busy. He's doing it 4 and sometimes 5 days a week. Takes him about 6 hours to load a trailer with the gas tanks, go to the gas station. I mean, the roads they're not much. I mean, you're not going to traverse these roads at 40 mile an hour, 50 mile an hour. They're 15 mile an hour, 20 mile an hour roads. Go to the gas station, fill the tanks up, go to Garza, which is about 7 miles away, unload they call them pachingas, the gas tanks, 18-gallon gas tanks. They're heavy. Load them, set them in the transporter, take them out to the transporter, siphon them out, and dump them in the boats. It's a process, and by the time he gets back, it's about 5 to 6 hours, 4 or 5 days a week. It's horrible, but that's part of the price you pay for super aggressive fish that don't get a lot of pressure, and all that remoteness. When you walk to that beach and it's beautiful sunny day. I mean, they don't build 6-lane highways to jungle remote outposts. They just don't. And that's part of the charm, is the remoteness, but it has its challenges, especially from a business operator. As a tourist, you won't see much of it, but it's different. It's different.
Absolutely. Friends of Rollo is checking in. What's going on, guys? Are children welcome on the boats, and is childcare available?
Absolutely to both of them. But the lady that does the childcare for us, of course, they have children of their own. She's been with us for over 20 years. I know her and all her family, and this is not just anybody in our group, it's Jenny. And absolutely, kids are welcome on the boats. And the guys will explain a lot to them, but if they're under 75 pounds, we have to have a special life jacket on board for them, which is no problem. We've got it. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're all family. All family.
I think we just answered this, but I'll ask it again. Arnie wants to know, can you fly to Costa Rica from the CBX, which I think you said we could pre-COVID, right?
Yes. From where?
The CBX, the Tijuana bridge, right, from San Diego there?
I don't know. I mean, there's no COVID requirement to go to Costa Rica. You do a survey, you download the survey in hard copy, and then you buy traveler's insurance. But I don't know going through Mexico. I don't know.
I was actually just about to ask you, is there any current restriction or anything like that from us traveling right now to Costa Rica that you know of?
No, just what I said. Now, coming back, you do the COVID check before you board a plane to come back to the United States. The place to do it is right across the street from our office. When you check in, our concierge set your appointment then, and it's walk in, walk out, and you're done.
Excellent. That's really good to know. Considering,
and whatever obstacle the governments give us, I mean, trust me, we want to be in business. We're going to overcome that obstacle quick. We're going to figure out a good, efficient system for it. Because it's a new day. We got to do it. We want to be around.
Yeah, yeah. Well, before we let you go, Craig, I would be not doing our viewers service to ask about this. In terms of the gear, do you provide all the gear that we can fish with down there with all the boats?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And all our stuff, it's all custom rods, Shimano, the metal, the Tiagra reels. Now, if they're fly fishermen, they need to bring their own flies and their own fly rods and reels and all that, right? But we'll set the boat up for them. We got no problem. We host fly guys all the time. And I know you California guys like the real small diameter reels. I know that's the big fad. The guys with stoked on fishing, they brought their own. That's fine if you want to bring your equipment. We don't have a problem doing it. And we do the bait and switch. So that's really suited for those small diameter reels. You can kind of see the fish as he comes up. And if you want to, I don't know how, if it's 600-pound marlin, you might not want to back off to that small case Daiwa or whatever you guys are using out there. It's cool fishing. I like it, but yeah, you can bring your own stuff. But yeah, we've got first class stuff. I've been a blue water guy all my life. I know what it takes to fight those beasts every day. And you're not anything weak in your equipment is going to show up down there. We're a great testing ground for Shimano.
That's awesome. Really cool. For those of us that are wanting to bring our own gear, would you no problem getting there?
None whatsoever. None whatsoever.
Excellent.
And love hosting the fly guys. Our area is very suited for the fly because we do a lot of bait and switch. The fish are aggressive. We pull them up from the teasers, and it makes it nice and easy for a fly guy to drop it, and then we pull the boat back into gear. I mean, in neutral.
Fantastic. Wayne has a question. How do you get to the fishing boats if there isn't a marina or dock?
I got a guy, we call him Slow Freddy, wears too much cologne, and he'll back up to our house in the morning and pick you up with a smile on his face and get you there. No problem.
Oh my gosh. Is it usual to kind of beach launch your boats or get on the beach?
That's it. There's no other option, Chris. I'm sorry. The closest marina, I think it's 110 miles away. No, I'm sorry. We got Flamingo is about 80 miles, 85 miles.
No, it's all good with me. All good with me.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it's part of the charm. It really is. And what's neat about it is, like I was saying earlier about the experience, and that's part of the experience. Every day in Costa Rica is an adventure. I mean, it really is. It's just, I'd bore you to death with all these stories I could tell you about the 20 plus years I've been down there, the crazy stuff I've seen. And I watched those Costa Ricans overcome. They're the most resilient people. They're not going to cry and complain about nothing. They're going to get it there. Just an example, the full moon, like I was telling you about at peaks, the rainy season in October this year, the water in the river rose up 43 feet. Javier's mother, where we do the horseback tour, she doesn't have any electricity. The base of her house is 36 feet. Longitude, straight up and down from the river level. It flooded her house to the top of the block.
Holy smokes.
Now, 14 years ago, it flooded to the bottoms of the window. But the house, of course, was damaged. The porch got damaged, was full of 4 feet of mud. Now, but you would think, I mean, here in America, you'd be a lot of crying and all that stuff. And you know what we did? What my guys did? They all pitched in. They loaded up on horseback and went up there on horseback with shovels and started cleaning that thing up. And in 4 or 5 days, that house, she was back in there, and the chickens came back, and it was just. But that's just one of many obstacles these Costa Ricans face. I mean, it's part of that. What makes them unique, I think, is that crossover between an Indian and a jungle person, and really tuned into the nature, people.
Absolutely. That's a really great story too to share just about the community that, your community down there as well.
Well, year before last, the water level only raised about 14 feet. And we took the small 23 and we're shuttling people that got isolated in the boat down roads that were about a mile and a half away from dry land. Every day's an adventure.
Of course. Well, Craig, any new exciting things going on in 2021 with Fishing Nosara? Anything that we can look forward to?
Just wanting to host as many people as we can, and want to get a bunch of Californians down there. We got a good contingent of you guys. Miss all of you from the Fred Hall shows. Wish I was going to be there. By golly, I hate it that I guess it's not going to happen this March, but hey, we got 2022. Let's be positive. Worry about what we can control. And trust me when I tell you, when they bring those boat shows back, Fishing Nosara will be there.
Excellent. Well, Craig, I know Wayne just gave us a link to fishingnosara.com, but when we want to go down,
Chris, one other thing, and I will tell you, I forgot about this. We are doing a group in May with the Stoked on Fishing group. The TV show's coming down. They're going to shoot an episode, and I've still got about 4 slots open for that trip. It's a cool trip. It comes with fishing, tours, a dinner, shuttle from the airport, everything. It's a full week. I think it's $19.50 a person. It concludes everything. The only thing you've got is 5 of your evening meals and tips.
Excellent.
And it's part of that. It's the Shay McEntee and Andrew from the show. And I don't know if I know some of your listeners know Shay McEntee. Yep. He is a hoot. The guy is a riot to hang with. I mean, I've done a bunch of fishing with Shay, and he is fun too.
Excellent. Do you happen to have any dates on that?
May 10th through the 17th.
Okay.
Come in on a Tuesday and leave on a Tuesday. Excellent. 7 full nights too.
Can we book that with
if we fill it up with 20 people or excuse me, 15 people, we're going to do an end of the trip dinner, and we have a guy comes in and plays his guitar, and they play the marimbas, and it's a cool experience. I mean, it's going to be fun. And trust me, I'm going to be there with Shay. I'll be there. I love hanging with the guy. I love surfing with him. If any of you guys are surfing, you got to watch Shay surfing, though. He'll drop in on you.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I cannot wait. But anyway, Craig, thank you so much for joining us, man. This was really a pleasure to having you, and can't wait to go down there to Costa Rica and go visit you.
Likewise, brother, man. Love to have you. Can't wait to host you guys.
Yeah.
Y'all got my phone number. My cell phone's the number on the website. You need me, call me, please.
Absolutely. And one more time, Craig, if we want to go down to Costa Rica and fish with you, how do we do that?
Craig, you can give me an email, craig@fishingnosara.com, or my cell phone's 904-591-2161, and it's always on.
Excellent. Well, Craig, man, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
My pleasure, Chris. Great talking to you.
Likewise, my friend. We will see you guys next week, and Craig, I will see you down south for sure this year.
All right, brother. Pura vida.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend.
See you.